Good morning. It's been a while, almost a month. I kind of was guided to jump back on here a couple days ago. Shot a couple, didn't post any, but this morning I was guided to share this message about what I would refer to as subconscious programming. And what I mean by that is when people are mean, cruel, hurtful. I believe it was Jesus, or was out of the Bible, definitely, if it wasn't Jesus himself. Forgive them, they know not what they do. Now, I know the context that it was presented in the Bible, or from Jesus, but I've kind of adapted my own definition or interpretation of that line. On a soul level, in its pure form, before any traumatic experiences, in its natural state, cat's doing a weird thing, our souls are pure love. Okay? Nobody's soul is tattered or bad or evil in its natural form. This is my belief system. Through traumatic experiences, through societal programming, which isn't like a conspiracy theory. This is just what we've learned throughout our whole life, watching TV, watching movies, our experiences, so on and so forth. They create belief systems in us. They create, I don't want to really say negative behavior, but negative behavior. So when I hear that, forgive them, they know not what they do, I believe that this is subconscious behavior being acted out, not conscious. So when I think about the term unconditional love, which is a term that was pretty foreign on this earth for a long time, I believe, aside from Jesus, it's like my sponsor once told me, one of my sponsors, Kat, listen, you gotta know. He said, you don't have to like everybody, but you do have to love them. And at first, that didn't really make a lot of sense to me. But it began to make sense to me. And, when I start learning about the universe a little bit more, start watching a lot of philosophers and free-thinking minds, forward-thinking minds, Alan Watts, such things like that. And I start to see these things happening in my own life. I realize that we're all connected and that we're all the same. So when we're passing judgment or being cruel or mean to other people, we're being cruel and passing judgment on ourselves. But I understand that it could be triggering at times. It could be upsetting at times. We want to engage in this victim mentality of oh my God, do you know what so-and-so said to me? Do you know what so-and-so did to me? And I'm not telling you anything, really. Take it for what it is. But I'm not saying that you have to allow these things to happen to you. If people are coming at you from a highly unconscious state and saying things that are hurtful, mean, painful, I'm not saying you have to allow those people to be in your existence or that you have to like it. But if you realize that they're doing that because they're in pain on a subconscious level, that they're traumatized, and that they, I think in most cases, aren't even aware of the behavior. Not all cases, but a lot of them, in my experience. it starts to give us an ability to be able to be a little more empathetic. You know, somebody cuts me off, throws me the finger, you know, I think, damn, like, what must they be going through right now? That's how they want to behave, you know? And it's not like I'm not trying to practice spiritual supremacy or put myself above anybody else. I just use myself as an example there, you know, but it's been a useful tool for me. It's been a useful tool for me. In their natural state, nobody wants to tell you to go fuck yourself, according to my belief system. You know? So I share this because, and then there's a second part to it, is that another thing to take into consideration is that when you are triggered by somebody's behavior, what I started to do is I started to ask myself, well, why exactly am I triggered? What emotion am I feeling? And when was the first time I ever remember feeling that emotion as a child? And through going back to that memory, looking at that experience and turning it around into a positive, like turning my trauma into a positive. You know, how does this, I see how it negatively served me, but how does it positively serve me? How did it positively serve me? I believe, and people way smarter, way more experienced, and way more educated than me have a similar concept, a similar exercise to help clear past trauma. When we can identify the duality or paradox within said traumatic experience, and we can look at the positive versus just looking at the negative, we're able to integrate that part back into ourselves. And then when we successfully complete this, in the future, when a similar trigger comes up, we handle it different. It slides off our back, like right down the top. Like, something that would blow my top a year ago, today, doesn't have that same power over me. You know? And I'm sharing this with you because I love you. Because I love you and I want you to have peace. You know, there's multiple roads that lead to Rome. Paraphrase. You know, so you can get there whatever way you want. This is one of the techniques that I've used, and it's helped me exponentially. You know, so just remember, people aren't naturally mean or shitty, judgy. They've been through a lot. We all have. Everybody has their brand of trauma that they experienced. You know, the more severe stuff, all the way down to like the backhanded compliments and the things our parents didn't really mean to negatively impact us by saying, but they were just working with the best information they had. You know? So it's on us to change. And when we start healing these pieces of trauma, and we start figuring out who we really are, you watch your world transform around you. And it's pretty amazing. So, with that being said, I love you guys very much. And you should be seeing more of me, for sure. I gotta get to yoga. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace and love.